We now return to Access Granted.
Cheers.
Cheers. So Jamie, how long has Full Sail been here?
First, we opened in September 27th, 1987.
87.
And so we turned 21 in about a month.
Great.
Yeah.
And you've been here from the start?
Yes, I have.
Now you guys are an employee-owned company, so what does that mean?
Well,
I mean, I know what it's in. Obviously it's employee-owned, but what's that entail?
Well, when we started, there was a group of investors that owned the company. It was family and friends and some other bigger moneyed investors.
Okay.
And when the stock market got hot in the late 90s, with internet companies, people, Brewery makes money, but it doesn't make a ton of money, right? Hopefully it makes money, knock on wood.
Right,
anyway,
right.
And so they were looking for a vehicle to get a way to get the money out of the brewery. So the company was actually put up for sale in 1998.
Okay.
And of one of the buyers was the employees among everybody. So there was a competitive process, and the employees ended up winning. And so it's an ESOP, so it's a trust that actually owns the company, and then the employees have stock in the trust. And so as you work here, you gain shares based on what you're paid, just not unlike a 401k that you control the value of because you work here.
And regardless of what position?
Regardless of what position you have.
Entry level?
Exactly. Everybody shares. And so it's also given to the employees basically as a benefit of working here.
Okay.
So you don't actually put money into the company to get shares. Those shares are given out yearly.
Okay.
And so the people that are here the longest, of course, have the most shares. They'll retire. Those shares get rolled back into the trust, and then those get reallocated to new people all the time. So it's kind of an ongoing thing.
You had mentioned, the responsibility to the community and so forth, and then you guys also have a responsibility to the environment, which you guys take seriously.
Yes.
And you guys have some things like condensed work weeks to reduce power and water. Yes. Tell me a bit about that.
Well, one of the things we saw on the tour when we went around was a centrifuge.
Mm-hmm.
That was a decision we made a long time ago. The first one we bought was in 1989. And essentially there's several different ways to filter beer. One of the big ways is with diatomaceous earth. And essentially you filter using a powder, and then that powder goes to landfill, usually soil amendment for farmers, but it's ongoing and you generate the waste all the time.
Okay.
The centrifuge, you capture the yeast off the machine, and you mix that in with spent grain that goes to cattle feed, and so there's no landfill associated with it.
Oh, okay.
And so from a responsibility standpoint, we're not generating something that we can't take care of. We know we can't take care of it, and it goes to a place that's efficient and green. So when we upgraded that machine, we looked at a bigger unit of one of those as opposed to something else that may end up having an issue.
Okay.
The same way of when we're looking at equipment in the plant, you can usually choose between several levels of efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at it, and there's not a lot of dollar spread between the efficiency parts, but a lot of people buy the cheapest thing, and we tend to buy the most efficient thing. It may not be the least expensive, but I think in the long run, you're being more responsible. We do things like we recycle all our cardboard. We have a lot of cardboard, a lot of plastic, a lot of glass. All that gets collected and recycled. We run 4 10-hour work weeks. So we run Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we shut down Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The pub is open.
Sure.
But the brewery itself, which is a big energy consumer, sits idle.
Well, the green, this idea of going green, it's getting very popular, as it should be. It's very important, and you guys are taking that seriously. And I think people would be really impressed that you guys are doing that. Are you guys doing any marketing?
When we built the plant, I had waste treatment system set up as an integral part of the design because we were becoming bigger, and the city of Hood River is a small community, and I didn't want to become too big a player in their waste problem. And so to be proactive, we designed that in from the start.
Great.
And we've been doing it for a long time. It was funny because everyone started making a big deal about it, and it's like, well, yeah, we've been doing that a long time.
So then yourself, let's talk about you for a little bit. A brewmaster. What is a brewmaster? I mean, obviously you're...
The brewmaster's a problem solver. I don't know what you want to call that.
I'm sorry, but you almost seem like a chemist when you were showing me stuff. I was like really amazed at how intricate the process is.
Well, my background is organic chemistry and German, double major. And so I approach brewing from an organic chemistry point of view. You could also be a microbiologist, be a really standard thing because of the yeast involved. But essentially, it is a process, and you saw that. And as long as people are paying attention, cleaning's being done, things are moving timely fashion, heat's when it's needed, cold's when it's needed, then the process runs really pretty well. I mean, it is, you know, a giant kitchen, whatever you want to say. You got your recipe, and off you go. When there's issues, when there's cleaning problems, when there's a problem with piece of machinery, you know, that's when the experience comes back to help. Where, you know, okay, this happened before, here's what we did. Or we need to move this beer into this tank, clean this tank, that kind of thing. But a lot of times, that's dealt with. And so, if we're having cleaning problems or things like that, then we'll sit down and talk, and we'll get everybody involved, and what do we need to do to fix that? We need a tank layout or design. I laid out and designed the whole brew house, the new brew house. In a small brewery, the brewmaster, I can do everything. I can work on steam, I can work on electricity, right now I'm doing most of the computer work because that stuff's expensive, right? You pay somebody, right? And so I think that's the benefit of a small company. And a traditional large company, the brewmaster would be behind a desk and he would be production coordinating, basically. And in a business our size, it's so much more than that because it can be more than that.
Right.
You know, certainly I could sit behind the desk and production coordinate, but you know, it's employee owner, you know.
Yeah.
So then why would you do that? So
much more proactive than reactive when it's yours.
Yeah, and I also think it's having your hands in the process and talking with people that are touching everything every day, you know, and how things going, you know, what's happening, you know.
So how many employees are actually here at Full Sail?
Well, when we went employee owned, it was 47.
Okay.
And so that's why we have that FS47 logo.
Right.
That's
what that is.
For those original people when that happened. And I think now between the pub and sales staff and the increase in staffing next door, I think we got close to 80.
Wow.
And so we started with 4 back along that 21 years ago.
Right. And how appropriate. You finally be old enough to drink, 21.
That's right.
Yeah. So did you come from somewhere else before helping, I guess you helped start Full Sail?
Well, I actually came on about 3 months after the first brew.
Okay.
And I came from Chicago. I'm from Indiana originally.
Oh, okay.
And I was brewing at a brewery in Chicago after brewing school. Maybe 3 or 4 months, I got a phone call to come out here. And I came out, and I tell you, it was very small. Did 800 barrels the first year, and we'll do 140,000 this year. And really had good salespeople. We had good management. You know, really focused on keeping the beer quality and delivering that to the consumer. And so, if you're starting out, you got to hit the nuts, you know. And it was kind of fly by your seat for a while, you know. It wasn't a bad thing, but you know, just back in the day. You know?
Yeah. Exciting.
Exciting. Yes, always full of opportunities.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's great. Well, it's been very impressive and really nice getting to talk to you. And thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you guys.
So, Jamie.
Cheers.
All right.
Access Granted is an original program of CGN7.